Blog Talk Radio.
Yes. Shalom, Habarim. Shalom, salam to Tenai Stalin. We have today's daily Psalm, Psalm 108. I'd like to go into the King of Kings Bible and go into some depth in today's daily Psalm, Psalm 108. But first things first here, on the Wednesday, the fourth day of the Shabua, the midway day of the 7 days, here for the Wisdom Wednesday. Here. Shalom, Habarim. Shalom. Wisdom.
These are also the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out.
Wisdom. Yes, she is the principal thing, principal matter. Wisdom. In wisdom, Ha'elohim Elohim created the heavens and the earth. Wisdom.
Wisdom. Science for freedom. Now wisdom is found in the simplest of places. Got no time to lose, got no time to waste. See, two roads before you, live your choice. There is good and bad, oh sad. See, there is one that leads to eternal life, and the other is the road that leads to death. Oh, no one knows what a day may bring. But there is life, there is hope. Redemption songs we should sing. Whoa. Redemption. Whoa. Yeah, now. Redemption. A man is a man that you should understand. There's no ifs or buts, so baby. And up for life we should live, or you'll be sorry. Oh yeah, you'll be sorry. For there is life, there's hope, and we should live. Yeah. Redemption songs, we should live. Now, whoa, redemption. Whoa, yeah, now. Whoa, yeah. Redemption songs we should sing now. I said, wisdom is found in the simplest of places. Got no time to lose, got no time to waste. See two roads before you, think your choice. There is one that leads to eternal life. The other leads to death. Well, oh Lord, yeah now. From there is life, redemption songs we should sing. Whoa, redemption. Whoa, redemption. Oh, we should sing. Always. parable and sing the dark sayings of old. Does not wisdom and knowledge stretch forth their hands unto you, O children, I cry. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness. All the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah, or man you will surely fail. Oh yeah, na na na, yeah. Oh yeah. In laughter the heart is sorrowful, your folly is your reward. Better a dinner of herb where love is, than feasting where there is wrath. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness, all the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah, amen, you will surely fail. Oh yeah, na na. Oh yeah. Ooh yeah. Oh yeah, now. So take heed, ya people, and live upright, for this is the time that will tell. When the righteous one shall stand up strong, oh, why did the heathen rage? All the words of my mouth speak righteousness, all the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah, amen, you will surely fail. Oh yeah, now. Oh yeah, then you will surely fail. Oh yeah, now. Oh yeah, now. Did I will open my mouth in a parable and sing the dark sayings of old? Does not wisdom and knowledge stretch forth their hands unto you, O children, I cry. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness, all the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the words of Jehovah, and you will surely fail. Ooh. Oh yeah, now. Ooh. Oh yeah, now. Leave us now. Leave us. Never give up righteousness. Oh yeah, now. Keep it up, follow the footsteps of your father. Oh yeah, now. Words of wisdom, words of wisdom, words of wisdom. I hold to. I said I hold to.
Words of wisdom. Inside Dennis, the Prince of Reggae Brown, right there, is here. Words of wisdom, Wisdom Wednesday, right here. Wisdom is justified, yes, she is, by all of her children. You know that?
Salamta, Beta said. Greetings and welcome, family, to this special episode of Wisdom Wednesday with the Rastamandem here on Discipleship Radio.
For they shall be an order of thy father, and for my son, my son, my son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, and forsake not the law of thy mother, and forsake not the law of thy mother, the law of thy mother, the law.
These are also the proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out.
Stay tuned. Full of full. Going to touch on today's daily psalm. Going to touch on the Hebrew, but a little extended Amharic from the King of Kings Bible, Kamal Haile Selassie, the Book of the Seven Seals. But first things first, right here, we have the evening psalm, pointing for the chanting as in the Temple of Jerusalem, and according to the royal order, the evening psalm here for the fourth day, that's called Wednesday, we have Psalm 94.
Psalm 94. O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth, O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth, render a reward to the proud. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools, when will ye be wise? He that planted the ear, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? He that chastiseth the heathen, shall not he correct? He that teacheth man knowledge, shall not he know? The Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. Blessed is the man whom thou chastenest, O Lord, and teachest him out of thy law, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity, until the pit be digged for the wicked. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Unless the Lord had been my help, my soul had almost dwelt in silence. When I said, my foot slippeth, thy mercy, O Lord, held me up. In the multitude of my thoughts within me, thy comforts delight my soul. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous, and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off.
Cut them off. So right there is the evening psalm for the fourth day. That's called nowadays Wednesday, but the fourth day of the Shavuot, Psalm 94, the evening psalm. So we have today's daily psalm, Psalm 108. Gonna ride up with that just after this right here. Here we have Landlord. Artist name, Landlord, and Chop Command, burning a fire upon the wicked. Yes, wicked mind. Fire. Hotter.
The wicked man is getting strong, while our churches are getting weak. But tell me, who is gonna lead the way, while our youths them are going astray? We all played a part in this, so why we live in negative? This is not the way we're supposed to live. And we know it's in our sin that we're not fooling no one else. We got to repent and love our brothers as ourselves. Oh yeah, and love our brothers as ourselves. Me say the wicked man is getting strong, as the devil is fasting, while our churches are getting weak. But tell me, who is gonna lead the way, as the devil while our youths them are going astray? קח את הימים, קח את הלילות, קח את הצרות, קח את המראות, קח את הכאב, קח את השעות, כי כמוני לעולם לא תוכל להיות. קח את החובות, קח את הזכויות, קח את השכונה, קח את הזיכרונות, קח את החוכמה, קח את האמונות, תרצה אולי כמוני עולם לשנות. קח את הניסיון, קח את ההיגיון, קח את הרצון, קח את החזון, קח את הפסון, קח קח את השיגעון, קח את האש ביד ויש לך המנון.
Human is getting strong,
עבדים וערבים מתחזקים,
while our church is getting weak.
ומסביבם חובות בונים.
But tell me who is gonna lead the way?
אז איך את המצב משנים,
While our youth them are going astray.
שבאגדות
We
מרים
must make up our mind to seek Him in this evil time. Throw away all our ways, keep we are smart, the world is wiser. You can even learn from us. Church, let's humble ourselves. Oh yes, and love our brothers as ourselves. Oh yes, and love our brothers as ourselves. Me say the wicked man is getting strong,
עבדים וערבים
while our churches are getting weak.
בבתי הכנסת נחלשים,
But tell me who is gonna lead the way?
אז איך את המצב משנים,
While our youth them are going astray.
שילדים חיים ונכנסים. קח את השטויות, קח את הרצינות, קח את הרוגע, קח את ההסכנות, קח את החברות, קח את הבריאות, קח את האשליה, וקבל את המציאות.
Yes. Chop, come on, landlord, right there. Wicked man, on fire. Hot to fire, patois, some Hebrew right there. There's here today's daily psalm coming forward right here. English first. Shalom again, shalom, Chavarim. Here we have today's daily psalm. We have
Psalm 108.
מזמור ק"ח שיר מזמור לדוד.
O God, my heart is fixed.
נכון ליבי אלוהים, 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 אלוהים.
I will sing and give praise even with my glory.
אשירה ואזמרה אף כבודי, אף כבודי, אף כבודי, אף כבודי, אף כבודי.
Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem, and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Wilt not thou, O God, who hast cast us off, and wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our and 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 tread down our
Try, and tread down our enemies. That's right. Very interesting today's daily psalm, both in the Hebrew and in the Royal Amharic, where it says, so we will do valiantly. It has the Afro-Shemitic Hayil, the Hayil in Haile Selassie, the power. we will do powerfully. We're going to get into some of the details right there. But first, a little dubwise here. Today's daily psalm, native speaker Abraham Chabuda. And then getting into some of the details coming forward here.
Legashun, Agarashun, Legashun, Legashwe, Ethiopia manage, you know. But we want the next verse with Amharic. We want the next verse with Amharic.
For my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Dubwise, Wadada. Yes, sir.
Take us away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. That's good for the past by instead. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother,
መዝሙር 107 በቅንፍ 107 የዳዊት የምስጋና መዝሙር። ልቤ ጽኑ ነው፣ አቤቱ ልቤ ጽኑ ነው፣ እቀኛለሁ በክብሬም እዘምራለሁ። በገና ሆይ ተነስ፣ መሰንቆ እኔም ማልጄ እነሳለሁ። አቤቱ በአሕዛብ መካከል አመሰግንሃለሁ፣ በወገኖችም መካከል እዘምርልሃለሁ። ምህረትህ በሰማይ ላይ ታላቅ ናትና እውነትህም እስከ ደመናት ድረስ ነውና። አቤቱ በሰማያት ላይ ከፍ ከፍ በል፣ ክብርህም በምድር ሁሉ ላይ ትሁን። ወዳጆችህ ይድኑ ዘንድ በቀኝህ አድን፣ አድምጠኝም። እግዚአብሔር በቅድስናው ተናገረ፣ ደስ ይለኛል። ሴኬምንም እካፈላለሁ፣ የሱኮትንም ሸለቆ እሰፍራለሁ። ገለአድ የኔ ነው፣ ምናሴም የኔ ነው። ኤፍሬም የራሴ መጠጊያ ነው፣ ይሁዳ ንጉሴ ነው፣ ሞዓብ መታጠቢያዬ ነው። በኤዶምያስ ላይም ጫማዬን ዘረጋለሁ፣ ፍልስጤም ይገዙልኝ። ወደ ጽኑ ከተማ ማን ይወስደኛል? ማንስ እስከ ኤዶምያስ ይመራኛል? አቤቱ የጣልከን አንተ አይደለህምን? አምላክ ሆይ ከሰራዊታችን ጋር አትወጣም። በመከራችን ረድኤትን ስጠን፣ የሰው ማዳን ከንቱ ነው። በእግዚአብሔር ኃይልን እናደርጋለን፣ እርሱም የሚያስጨንቁንን ያዋርዳቸዋል።
Psalm 108.
מזמור ק"ח, שיר מזמור לדוד.
O God, my heart is fixed.
נכון ליבי אלוהים.
I will sing and give praise even with my glory.
אשירה ואזמרה אף כבודי.
Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem, and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Wilt not thou, O God, who hast cast us out? And wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly. For he it is that shall tread down all that 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 tread down all that
tread. Tried. That verse right there. Might have picked up on it. It's like the last verse. Exhiabir, Hailin and Nadargalen, and Exhiabir and Sustainer. Hailin, Hail, power, powerfully. Hailin and Nadargalen. I and I will do. Arsum, he himself, Yimias Kunin, those they who cause us stress and distress, our adversaries, Yawardachawal, he will humble them. And then we have in the Hebrew, that same verse right there, the verse that says, through God, I and I shall do valiantly, powerfully. Belohim, Naaseh Chayil, Chaylin and Nadargalen, Chayil, powerfully. For he it is that will trod down our adversaries and our adversities. Who? Yabus Areinu. But more of the detail coming forward. Let's get a little bit of acapella before we go into some of the details of today's daily psalm. Psalm 108, the 108th psalm that is seen thanksgiving and prayer. Bamarinya Miskanana Elot. Miskana, thanks and praise, thanksgiving, and Elot, and prayer.
Bring forth the Bible. 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 Bring forth the Bible.
And listen out for the higher. Listen out for the
Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible.
Today's daily psalm, the King of Kings Bible, Kadamala Hadasalasi Bible right here. Native speaker Abraham Chebuda. Sima. Here it is.
መዝሙር 107 በቅንፍ 108 የዳዊት የምስጋና መዝሙር። ልቤ ጽኑ ነው፣ አቤቱ ልቤ ጽኑ ነው። እቀኛለሁ በክብሬም እዘምራለሁ። በገና ሆይ ተነስ፣ መሰንቆም እኔም ማልጄ እነሳለሁ። አቤቱ በአሕዛብ መካከል አመሰግንሃለሁ፣ በወገኖችም መካከል እዘምርልሃለሁ። ምህረትህ በሰማይ ላይ ታላቅ ናትና እውነትህም እስከ ደመናት ድረስ ነውና። አቤቱ በሰማያት ላይ ከፍ ከፍ በል፣ ክብርህም በምድር ሁሉ ላይ ትሁን። ወዳጆችህ ይድኑ ዘንድ በቀኝህ አድን፣ አድምጠኝም። እግዚአብሔር በቅድስናው ተናገረ፣ ደስ ይለኛል። ሴኬምንም እካፈላለሁ፣ የሱኮትንም ሸለቆ ሰፍራለሁ። ገለአድ የኔ ነው፣ ምናሴም የኔ ነው። ኤፍሬም የራሴ መጠጊያ ነው፣ ይሁዳ ንጉሴ ነው፣ ሞዓብ መታጠቢያዬ ነው። በኤዶምያስ ላይም ጫማዬን ዘረጋለሁ፣ ፍልስጤም ይገዙልኛል። ወደ ጽኑ ከተማ ማን ይወስደኛል? ማንስ እስከ ኤዶምያስ ይመራኛል? አቤቱ የጣልከን አንተ አይደለህምን? አምላክ ሆይ ከሰራዊታችን ጋር አትወጣም። በመከራችን ረድኤትን ስጠን፣ የሰው ማዳን ከንቱ ነው። በእግዚአብሔር ኃይልን እናደርጋለን፣ እርሱም የሚያስጨንቁንን ያዋርዳቸዋል።
Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible.
Tread down our enemies. Tread them down. Yes, I. Tread down I enemies. For he it is. With who? Yabus. Farein. With who and who? Who? He. The Hebrew with who? Yabus. Tread down Farein. Now here's interesting in the Hebrew, it's the 14th verse. In KJV, it's the 13th verse of today's daily psalm. He's more Kof Chet. The Kof and the Chet Hebraically is alpha in the Hebraic alphanumerics is 108. Psalm CVII. So here we also have the Hayil. Hayil. You know, we have Hayil. Just to zoom in on that as well, we have Hayil. And today's psalm is also a repeat. If you know the Psalms or familiar with the Psalms, no doubt you'll recognize that some of the later verses is a repeat of another psalm. So here, let's just go over the overview and seek to ride up with the royal Amharic right here. But first, the overview. So what we have here is thanksgiving and prayer. Thanksgiving and prayer. Let me just do this right here, brothers and sisters, just behind the scenes, just queuing up for the royal Amharic. But first, we're going to go through a peshat. As we wanted to say earlier concerning His Majesty and the preface to make them, he speaks about after it was translated from the Ge'ez, the Ethiopic, and the manuscripts of the Israelites of Ethiopia and the Tewahedo Church, that then there was a revision, right, that was thought, in other words, go now consult or look at the Hebrew, the Masoretic, and when His Majesty mentions the Masoretic Hebrew in the Amharic, he regards it as the Meseretawi. The Meseretawi, which is like the foundational or groundational, the foundational. Meseret is the foundation, like we have the Yesod, the Sod, and the Masada, right? Masad. People say, oh, Masad. Masad is interesting. What does Masad mean? It's the foundation, right? The groundation. We'll get into that, you know, why they chose that, you know, to really understand, you know, why they chose that, you know, because interesting, because many, you say European Jews or others, they are very much into, many of them, right? Not all, but many of them are into certain aspects of Black culture. Right, so it would behoove us, you know, to really check out certain things. Okay, here we go. In fact, this is so mystical. I think the last psalm that we looked at on this app that has His Majesty's text as the authorized Amharic text. There are some Bibles, Amharic Bibles, that don't have the Orthodox text, the true text. It has like it's basically translated from Western Gentile Bibles into Amharic. But His Majesty's Bible from the Ethiopic, from the Ethiopic manuscripts, and also, you know, weighed with and consulted with the Hebrew of the Old and the Koine Copto, the Koine Greek of the New. But here I open this software up and I have Mezmor Silsa, Psalm 60. So look at the royal order schedule for the last time we had Psalm 60 according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews. And here in this psalm, it says here in parentheses, it has a link. It says 108, 6 to 13. So that means that in Psalm 60 is where those verses, in verse, was it 6? Was it verse 6? I think these verses here, that thy beloved may be delivered, save with thy right hand and answer me, where it says that Elohim has spoken His holiness, that I would exalt, that I would divide Shechem and mete out and measure out the valley of Sukkot. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim also is defense of my Roshi, of my Rase, my head. Yehuda is my scepter. In the Ethiopic, it says that Judah is my king. But in some translations, it says Judah is my lawgiver. Right, so you know, comparing and contrasting right there. Moab is my washpot. Upon Edom do I cast my shoe. Over Philistia do I cry aloud. Now this is reading through the Hebrew here. So we have these verses repeated right here. And let's get into this overview right here. Just want to bring up Psalm 108 so we can segue, hopefully before the third Iowa begins. And it will be beginning in about 8 minutes for those listening in the Blog Talk live streaming, about another 8 or so minutes before it goes out. One can either call in 515-602-9761, 515-602-9761, or hopefully check out the Rastafari Israelites YouTube channel right there, Rastafari Israelites, the YouTube channel, where we hope that the full of this stream, you know, goes through. But if anything, one would hopefully be able to check out the MP3. But here, an overview for today's daily psalm, a basic overview to get a context as in our study, to show ourselves approved and see what's right and accurate. Today's psalm is thanksgiving and prayer. It's a thanksgiving and prayer. From the Amharic perspective, Tuat, Wadase na beherawi selot. Tuat in the Ethiopic is the dawning. Tuat, the dawning, the duat, tuat. Wadase is a praise, Wadase, and beherawi, national selot, a national prayer. And here it has in the brackets Mezmor, Psalm 57, verses 7 to 11, and Psalm 60, verses 5 to 12. Right? So in other words, Psalm 108, it has reference, or it has verses that are found in Psalm 57, 7 to 11, and verses from Psalm 60, right? Verses 5 to 12 right here. So it's a thanksgiving and prayer. That's interesting. I'm looking at two different points of reference. One is the Sefer Tehillim, the Hebraic or Judaic Psalter, and the next is from the Metzat Kedus, the Book of the Seven Seals of His Imperial Majesty, from the Israelites of Ethiopia and the true church and the professing church, the Ethiopian Tewahedo Church. So here we have two extracts from earlier psalms, from earlier chants, earlier aises, praises, are the constituents of this psalm, of today's psalm, Psalm 108. Now here it says verses 2 to 6. Right now, when I'm reading from the Hebrew, the numbering is a little different, just by one number over, because the superscription, a song, a psalm of David, Yadawid Miskana Mizmor, from the Amharic or the Hebrew, Shir Mizmor Lidawid, that's counted as a verse. That's a verse in itself. So verses 2 to 6, Hebraically, which would be like verses 1 to 5 in the KJV, it corresponds with LVII, with Psalm 57, right, in the Hebrew, verses 8 to 12, in King James Version, verses 7 to 11, and verses 7 to 14, right, 7 to 14, right, in today's psalm, verses 6 to 13. If you're probably looking at the KJV or version like that, with Psalm 60. With Psalm 60 in the KJV, it would be verses 5 to 13, 5 to 13. So it says here further, it seems clear that the selection and combination were made for use in the liturgy. The liturgy, Ethiopically, we say the Kadase, right? The Kiddush, the sanctification, the liturgy, the Seder, right? To meet a special circumstance. What it was cannot be determined from those who have researched this particular psalm, but it is generally held to have been the time of the Iowa when the newly returned exiles were being menaced. Let's highlight that. This psalm seems to be when the newly returned exiles. What exiles are we talking about? We're talking about during the time of Koresh, Cyrus, and Darius in Babylon, when the black Jews, the Yehudi, when they had returned during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. Speaking about that particular time, when the newly returned exiles were being menaced, when they had repatriated, had returned to the land, and they were being menaced by others. Now, in the commentary, the points of variation are noted. So getting into further commentary, we can note the points of variation. And the reader and hearer, hopefully, is being referred here to the original Psalms for the exposition. So referring to the original Psalms, namely Psalm 57, verses 7 to 11, as well as Psalm 60, verses 5 to 12. And we're speaking that for those who would be referring to the King James Version. Now, the parts of today's daily psalm, right? We have verses 1 to 5, the thanksgiving, for Elohim, for Xavier's mercies, for the sustained mercy. And verses 6 to 13, the prayer in danger, the prayer in danger. Now, since two psalms, right, that are the source, right, the two psalms, right, Psalm 57 and Psalm 60 are known as Davidic psalms, right? So since the two psalms, which are the source, are ascribed to David, we also have the Davidic, the Shemot, we have his name, is attached to the composition in its present form. So what happened when our people returned, right? You know, they basically were inspired by the Davidic Psalms, and the Davidic Psalms became the core of the praise and the worship, right, of the returned Judahites, the returned, we say Israelites, generally speaking, more specifically the Judahites during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, Ezra and Nehemiah. So just to point that out, just as an overview. Another note we'd like to point to, in the last verse, KJV, that would be verse 13, in the Hebrew, right, in the Sefer Tehillim, that will be verse 14, where it says, through God.
90 seconds.
Okay, we got the 90-second mark right here, you know, here on the board. They let us know when we have 90 seconds before, you know, the first two hours are up. So just reminding ones and ones. Okay. So, yeah, so the verse here, through God, we shall do valiantly, for he it is who will tread down our adversaries. Let me look at KJV.
60 seconds.
60 seconds, y'all, right? So here, it's basically the same as in KJV. You know, sometimes there's a word difference, and we zoom in there and see what the Hebrew says, see what the Royal Amharic says, the Authorized, the King of Kings Bible says, and even sometimes go to the Koine Greek of the Septuagint, you know, which is an interesting point. So here with Psalm 108, we have the second Psalm, right? The second Psalm in the fifth book, right? In book 5, which is Psalm 107 to Psalm 150. The Psalter, like HaTorah, has 5 volumes, and here we have book 5, and we have the second psalm in book 5. So here, let's ride up with the Royal Amharic, go through a verse by verse. Oh, chant the note right here. So here the Hebrew. Let's look at the Hebrew of the 13th verse in the KJV, right? Which is actually verse 14 in the Hebrew, but KJV. Here it says, Belohim na'aseh chayil. Belohim na'aseh chayil. Through Elohim, or in Elohim, in the powers, the true good, the true God, the singularity of the powers, Belohim, Na'aseh Chayil, or some might enunciate as Na'aseh Chayil. More properly pointed, Na'aseh Chayil, Na'aseh, we will asa, we will do, Na'aseh, right, Chayil, Chayil, we would do power. We would do Chayil, as we say, Chayil, Chayla, Selassie, the power of the Trinity, Chayil. We point that out because many of the Black Hebrews and Israelites, such as the one Westers, right, they had zeal. Oh, a zeal, what a zeal, right? But they didn't really have the knowledge on that, saying, oh, Haile Selassie, Haile is not even a Hebrew word. You know, Dr. York did the same shite. I was surprised at him because he seems to have had some knowledge, you know, of some of the linguistics. Good at the linguistics, must say that right there. So here we have verse 13, Bamarinya Begziavia, Hailin in Nadargalen. So we have that there. Be in Exziavia, in the sustainer. Hailin, Hail, Hail. The N at the end is the direct object marker, like in the Hebrew, the et. In Hebrew, some we have the et, the aleph and tau, right? But here it says Chaylin in Nadargalin. So in, through, on, Exziavia, like when we say on God, like Be Elohim on Elohim, Be Exziavia on Elohim, Chayl, Chaylin, power in Nadargalin. We will do, I and I will do power. It's basically saying, bringing out a more better translation into the English, in the sustainer, in the source, in the Xavier, we will do powerfully. We will overpower, because Hayil has a sense of power, but it has a sense of overpower, right? Like a prevailing power, even if it seems as though you've been overcome, right? You know, like you ever see somebody wrestling, like two people wrestling, and one holds the next one down, right? And the tap is 1, 2, and they're about to tap 3 times, and they just summon up the power, and then they throw the other person off and pin them down and get the, you know, and get the match. That's the sense of their Exziavia Chaylin in Adergalin Belohim. Now it's set higher. So here. Let's write up Royal Amharic right here. Yes, I. Besama'ab, Wewalid, Wamenfesa, Kedus, Ahadu, Amlak. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one source. Mezmor Dawid, Psalm of David, Mezmor, chant, intonation, Isis, Mezmor, Psalm of, a Ge'ez construct here in the title in the Matthew Bible. So we have Ge'ez and Amharic. It's basically Amharic, but it flavors, has a Ge'ez flavor and some key expressions like the title here, Mezmor Dawid. Mezmor Dawid, Psalm of Mezmor, Psalm of Dawid, of David. Meto, right? Meto, Slika right here. Meto Sebat. Meto Sebat. Meto is 100. Sebat is 7. Against Wist, in the parenthesis, it says Meto Cement, which is 100. Meto Cement, 108. So the difference in the numbering, in the old numberings, and those who study the Hebraic also know that this is true. Some of the psalms joined up, right, and became one psalm, which in the latter versions were split, and thus we get a different numbering. But here in the Royal Amharic, in the King of Kings Bible, that is noted. So today's psalm is Mor Dawid, Meto Sabat, against Wista, Meto Cement, Psalm 108. Ye Dawid, of David. Ye Miskana, of praises. Miskana, praises. Mezmor, a chant, Isis, a psalm, a chant. Ye Dawid, ye Miskana, Mezmor. Just a little comparison here with the Hebrew, just in the superscription. In the Hebrew, we have shir, right? Shir. We have the sheen, the yod, and the resh, or the sh, the y, and the r. Shir. A shir is a song, a song. Then it says mizmor. Mizmor is a psalm, right? So we have song and a psalm. There's a difference. A song and the mizmor is a chant, an intonation, an Isis. Le Dawid, of David. Just to compare and contrast right there. Bamarinya, ye Dawid, ye Miskana Mezmor. So here in the Royal Amharic, it brings out the sense of David, right? A chant of thanksgiving. Isis, a chant of thanksgiving of David. Kuter an. Slika. Before we go to the Kuter an, we touched on it already before, but again, the theme and title of the psalm, thanksgiving and prayer, from the Hebraic, here from the Ethiopic, ye Tuat, would I say, ye Tuat, of the dawning, Tuat, of the dawning, would I say, like a praise, right, of the dawning, right? Inna and Beherawi, a national, Beherawi, Selot, prayer, Beherawi, a national prayer. So like a morning, like a dawning, rather dawning, better than morning, because morning could be, what you mean by morning? You mean sad, you mean the beginning of the day. So we prefer to say the dawning, right? Thanks of praises, Isis, right, of the dawning, and a national prayer. So today's psalm also has references once again to Psalm 57, verses 7 to 11, as well as Psalm 60, verses 5 to 12. Ye Dawid, ye Miskana Mezmor, a chant, right, of praise of David. Kuter and, verse 1. Lebe tsinunno abetu, lebe tsinunno ikenyalo, bekavreim izamralo. KJV says, "Oh God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise, even with my glory." Libe. So here in the Hebrew we have libe, libe. For point of contrast, in the Amharic we have libe. In the Hebrew we have libe. So we have dialects here. Libe, sinu. Here in the Royal Amharic, sinu means fixed, but sinu can mean firm. It's like firm. It's firmness. It's type of strength, but it's type of firmness. Like if somebody got a grip on you and you can't get from that grip, they got a firm grip. Right? But then if you have power, you might be able to overpower them and get free. But David is saying here that my heart, and sinu nawu, it is, libe, sinu no. My heart is firm or fixed. Abetu, father, betu of the house, father of the house, abetu. Libe, my heart, sinu no. My heart is sinu, is firm, is fixed. Ikenyalo, ikenyalehu, ikenyalo. Kine is like a composition, like a poem. But here he is saying not just like I will sing, but I will compose. I will compose. Like I will compose kine, like verses, almost like odes, like when they say like sonnets in a sense, like it's like short kind of rhymes in a sense. Ikenyalo. The kibreim, kubr is glory, right? Honor and glory, as well as the kibre, negest, right? The kibre negest. Right, the glory of the kings, right? So here David is saying kibre, my glory, be in on by way of kibre, on in my glory, be kibreim, and in my glory, right, or my honor is zemralo. It's a key expression here. Is zemralehu, is zemralehu. Said in a normal pace as zemralo. In zemralo, the root of it is zemre. We have this also, it's Afro-Asiatic, Afro-Shemitic. So we also have this in the Hebrew. Hebrew is also Afro-Asiatic, Afro-Shemitic. So we have the zamar in the Hebrew corresponding to the zemere. Why we're focusing on this? Because it's at the root of mezmor in the Amharic and mizmor in the Hebrew. So here David is saying, I will compose, like make composition, the kenyalo, bekabreim, and in my glory is zemralo. I would chant Isis, is zemralo. To say, I would chant mezmor. I would chant. Kutar hulet, verse 2. Begenahoy, tenes, ma senkom, inem, malje, inesalo. Awake, psaltery and harp, I, myself, will awake early. Begena, the harp of David, of Dawid, right? That we have the begena. It's 10 strings, no, right? 10 strings? Yes? Yeah. Just want to make sure. Just check. Sometimes we know, but we always like to affirm right there. Yeah, it says, I got it. It's a delay. Yes. So begena. The begena is a 10 string, and the masenko is like a 1 string, almost like a violin. But now when we can compare and contrast the Hebrew and see the instruments, because these are still the instruments that the Israelites of Ethiopia, right, from such a time to such a time continue to use. So we can get an insight and a continuity. So kuter hulet, verse 2 again. Begena hoy, oh begena, the begena. So he's like saying, oh harp, right? The harp, the 10-string harp of Dawid. Tenes, like wake up or get up or resurrect in a sense. Tenes, like to get up, right? From the nesa. Tenes, like to say awake. Begenahoy, tenes. So it says awake, O Saul, Tari, mesenkom. Now, mesenko, this is one old pointing of it. Some might call it Ethiopians, might call it today. It's also known as a mesinko. So mesenko here and masinko, we see both forms testified to, like a dialect, tomato, so to speak. But here, masenkom and the mesenko, the 1 string, right? The violin like 1 string, iname, and I, inne. Inne is a pronoun for I. In the Hebrew, we say ani, right? And in the Ge'ez, we will say aneh. And in Arabic, they say ana, just to give that little nuance there. But here we have inne, I myself, I, personal pronoun, iname, and I, inne, I, iname, and I, malje from the malada root, which malada is the early intercessory hours of the morning. It's like if you want to intercede or catch somebody to try to work something out, you try to get to their house like before even the dawn, right? At that early dawning time, like anywhere from maybe 3, 4 o'clock, to say 6 or so, before the sun comes up, just to give that kind of context. So he's saying in name, malaje, like I will kind of like dawn, like in a sense of like rise up early, intercede, wake up early, the early hours of the morning. right? In Nesalo. So in the early hours of the morning, in Nesalo, I will rise up. So he's like saying to his Dawid is like saying to the harp, right? It's like saying to the harp, like drum and bass. It's like saying, drum and bass, rise up. And I myself is going to wake up early, right? But we know that Dawid is, he is the one that is waking up these instruments. It's I doing it. But it's an interesting allegoricalism. So here, verse 3, Kutera Sos, Abiatu, Ba'azab Mekakel, Amesegin Halo. Beweganochim Mekakel is a Halo. I will praise thee, O Lord, Abiatu, my father's father of the house, among the people. I will sing praises, Isis to thee, I among the nations, Abiatu. The Ahizab corresponds to the term in the Hebrew, the Goyim, the Hizb is people, and Ahizab, is construct, is to say like the other nations, the other people, among peoples in that sense, among different kind of peoples. But Ahizab, Mekakel, amongst them, in the midst of them. Amesagin, Halo, I will praise, thank and praise, Isis, thank and praise the I male. Amesagin, Halo. The Weganochim, the Weganoch, a Wegan. See, Azab is like people, and Wegan is almost like ethnicity. It's like you have a people, and then amongst that people, you have other groups. Like you have the children of Israel in that sense, right? Overall, and then you like have the tribes and different people. So it's more like ethnicities to say, right? Nationalities, ethnicity. The Weganochim, and among the nations or the people groups, right? The ethnicities, Mekakel, amongst them, is Zamir. I will chant li for ha, speaking to he who be, is Zamir lehalo. Kutar Arat, verse 4. Mehiratih besamai lai talak natinna. Ilnetihim iskadamanat resnawinna. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth to the clouds. Mehiret, Nemharik, Mehiret, mercy, Mehiretih, the I male mercy. Besamai, in the heaven, right? Lie upon the heaven. Besamai lie. So here doesn't have samayot, samayat. In that sense, here it says heaven in a singularity sense. Besamai lie upon the heavens. Mihirati, your mercy. Besamai lie upon the heavens, the place of the upper waters. Talak, great. Natina, for she is. Let that pause for a moment to see that when he created man in his image after likeness, male and female, he created them. So here it says, Mihirati, the I mercy. We're speaking to he, his mercy. Besamai lie upon the heavens. Talak, great, important. Natina, she is. So his mercy is she, just to bring that out. Eunet to him, eunet, truth, winnet, eunet, truth, eunet to the I, male truth, eunet to him, and the I, male truth, iska, reaching to demenat, demenat is the clouds, demenat, deres, in that sense, reaching, deresa, knowing, and the I, truth, speaking to he, to the clouds, reaching to the clouds, he is. So it's interesting, the Meheret, the mercy, his mercy, he who be's mercy is brought out as she is, for she is. And his truth, eunet to him is kadamanat the rest, no, his truth is he. Interesting. Verse 5, Kutar amis, abetu, besamayat, lai, kef bel, kabrahim, bemedar hulu, lai, tuhun. Be thou exalted, O God, abetu, my father, his father, O Ab of the bait, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth. Abetu, my father's father, O Ab of the bait, besamayat, lai. So here we have in verse 5, we have the plural sense of the heavens from the Ethiopic, semayat. Like, for example, in the Our Father prayer, which is basically a very old Hebrew, Judaic prayer, we say, Abinu Sheba Shemayim, the heavens from Hebrew. And in the Ge'ez, we say, Besamayat, right? We say, Besamayat, right? The Samayat. To bring, Abuna Zebe Samayat. The Ge'ez is Abuna Zebe, Abuna, our Father Zebe, who is, like in the Hebrew, we say, Abinu Sheba, who is in the Shemayim, the Hebrew, and the Samayat, the heaven. So here it says, Besamayat lie, up on the heavens. So that's a Ge'ez word put in the royal Amharic. Besamayat lie upon the heavens, the place of the upper heavenly waters. Kef bel, kef, high, bel. Bel is like to say, it's a very interesting construction from the ale. Bel is like to say be, right? Be, kef, high. So these three words bring out one sense, like be high. Be kef, high, right? Upon the heavens. Besamayat lai, kef bel. Be thou exalted, abetu, right? Upon or above the heavens. Kubrahim, kubr is glory, honor, kubrih, the I male speaking to he, the I, your, right? Glory, kubrahim, and your glory, bemidr, Bemidr. The midr is the earth, the earthly plane, the land. Bemidr, in the earth, or on the earth. Hulu, on all the earth. Then the word lie, alai, upon. So the sense is Bemidr hulu lie, upon all the land, upon all land, upon all land. Kibrahim, Bemidr hulu lie, hulu being all, upon all the land. Tihun. Now, Tihun is interesting. If it was Yehun, it will be pointing to the masculine and masculine aspect, but here it is Tihun. This is now saying that the I, speaking of he who be, his glory, might, according to the metaphysics, is she, is the she side. Remember, he created man in his image after his likeness, male and female, he created them. So we get to see the divine double helix right there. Verse 6. What I joche yidnu zen bekenye adin adim tenyim, that thy beloved. So when that word that, so that is saying all of this before is being called on for this reason. It's like funneling to this reason. Right? Be thou exalted, Abetu, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earthly plane, that thy beloved. Do this so your beloved, wedajoche, wadada. Yeah. Well, here we have your beloved ones, that your beloved ones may be delivered. Save with thy right hand and answer me, and answer I. Wadajoche, Wadajoch, it's to say like beloved ones, Wadada, Wedede ones, right? Wadajoch, right? We have in the Hebrew like the Yedida. Instead of it being for W, the W in the Ethiopic and Amharic, sometimes in the Hebrew is a Y, because these two sounds are very sometimes close. But Wadajoche is say your beloved ones. Not speaking of one in singularity, but speaking of your beloved ones in plurality, right? The Hebrew right here is Yedideka. The Hebrew is yidideka, right? From the dod, dada, wadada root for love, beloved. But here it's bringing out the sense and the idea right here in verse 6. Your beloved ones, your lovers, the loved ones who love, he who be, his beloved ones. Yidenu, so that they to save zen, so that they may be denna, they may be saved, they may be preserved, they may be well. Wadajoche yidenu zen. Save with thy right hand, here by Marinya, the Kenya, in the Amharic is the right hand, the Ken, right? The gra is the left, the Ken, right? Kenya, speaking to he, the Kenya, in, on, by way of your right hand, Adin, from the Adine, right? The Adine. And we see a link between the Adin in the Ethiopic and the true meaning of Adonai. But here it says the Kenya, Adin. Adin is a command to say Adin. So to say to like, oh John, Adin is like to say save in that sense. Save. It's a command to save, to preserve, to make dehna, to make well, to make safe. Bekenye Adin, Adim Tanyan, and Adim Tang. And here, right? And Demet, like pay attention. Ademet, pay attention to I. So it says answer I. It's like not just hear I, but really listen. Listen to what I'm saying. Pay attention. Listen to me attentively. Is the real sense of answer me. Adim Tanyam. What I joche, yidnu zen. Bekenye Adin. Adim Tanyam. Kutar Sabat, verse 7. Egziaviher, Bekedisinawa Tanagare. Tesilenyal. Sekeminim, Ikafalalo. Yesukotinim, Shalako, Isafralo. The KJV has this as God have spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Sukkot. So here, Exia-viher, the sustainer, right? The good, the generous Father, Exia-viher, the sustainer. Be kedisnao tenagare. Kedisna, recall from the previous Torah reading and feeding the 30th, we had Kedoshim, right? And then we say, well, what is the Hebrew word for holiness, for set apartness? In the Hebrew is Kedusha. In the Amharic, it is Kedisna, from the Kadash root. So here it says Exia, the sustainer. Be kedisnao. In his kedisna, in his set apartness, in his holiness, tenagare, has spoken, right? Has spoken. Des yilenial, happy yilenial says to me, literally happy says to me, but bringing it out, I will be happy, right? I will rejoice. I will be happy. I will be des happy. Des yilenial, I will be happy. I will rejoice. Sekem, Shechem. The Hebrew we say Shechem, or Shechem, right? Here we have Sekem Menim, and Shechem, which can mean in the Hebrew a burden, right? Also in the Amharic we have the same kind of root sense as we get into the Ge'ez, but also can mean shoulder, right? But Hebraically from the sense of the burden, but also the shoulder, right? Sekeminim and Shechem, Ikafalalo. The book of Jubilees, which speaks about different dispensations, is called Kufale. Ikafalalo is to say, like, to kind of portion out, right? Almost like I will portion out, right? I will divide in that sense. Ikafalalo, right? Yet Sukkotinim, Sukkot, what we have in the 7th month, 7th moon, the 7th of the appointments and the feast, is known as Sukkot, which is called tabernacles, booths. We bring out the more proper Hebraic sense of it, right? Very Afro-Asiatic sense of huts. Sukkot is actually huts, right? So when we look at historical Ethiopia and see those thatched huts and everything, those are the highland of the Israelite of Ethiopia and Tawahedo tribe tradition, the Israelite tradition, we get a word picture right there. Yes, Sukkotinim, and of Sukkot, Sheleko. Sheleko is valley, right? The vale, a valley. The valley of Sukkot is Sephralo. I will meet out. The meeting out is like measuring out, almost like repatriation, like land granting in that sense. Repatriation, measuring out land. That's the sense of it. Uter cement, verse 8. Galaad, yeneno. Menasem, yeneno. Ephraim, yarase metegiyano. Yehuda, nuguseno. Gilead is mine. Manasseh mine. Ephraim also, the strength of mine head. Judah, my lawgiver. Here. From the HSV, Haile Selassie version, King of Kings Bible. Gilead. It's interesting because there's a hard and soft sounds, and even in transliteration, the names in the Royal Amharic, give us an insight into the proper pointing. In the Hebrew, we have a similar pointing of the name, and it's interesting when we study the linguistics of it all, because in the Hebrew, right, we say Gilead. Ad is a hard sound, and we find this also here in the Amharic. Gilead, Gilead, Yene. Ine, remember Ine? Ine is a pronoun for Ani. Ani in the Hebrew means I, and Ine in the Amharic is the pronoun I. Ye in the Amharic is like a preposition that means like of. So ye ine of me, to say my. Ye ine no, yeneno. Ye ine no, yeneno. Gilead, yeneno. Gilead is of me, is mine. Manasseh and Manasseh, Menashe and Manasseh, Manasseh and Manasseh, yeneno. Yeneno is mine. Ephraim for Ephraim and Ephraim, Yerase metegiano, of Rase, my head. The Ras, head, self, it can also mean self in a sense, but Rase, right, of my head, metegia, they have it as strength here. It's like a security. Like I'm gonna say, like the security in that sense of my head, right? The tega, like a place to flee for refuge. It's like I'm the refuge for the security, right? To say strength in that sense, because a place to be a refuge, security should be a strong place. Ephraim, Yarase of my head, Mategiano is the strength, is the strong place, the secure place of my head. Yehuda. It's not Yahuda. I know it's kind of hard to break this to ones have invested a lot in a mispointing, but we'll get into that. Judah means celebrated. Judah means praised. Right? We could say almost like Yehuda would have meant celebrated, like a celebrity. Praise meant he is praised. Yehuda. It does not mean praising Jah. It means that he is praised. His mama praised Jah for his birth, and therefore she praised Jah and called the product of her praise, in that sense, praise. Yehuda, Judah, praise, celebrated. Neguse. Here, Bamarinya, we have Negus, right? King, but in the sense of Neguse. Neguse, my king, Nawu. He is. Yehuda, Neguse, no. Judah is my king. So you see what it says, lawgiver. In the Hebrew, actually, it says, what, Mehokiki? It says Mehokiki. It says, Judah is my scepter. But who holds the scepter? But the king. So Yehuda, Neguse, no. Kutar Zeteng, verse 9. Moab, Metat no. Be Edomias Layim, Chamaye is a regalo. Philistine, Yigazut Linya. Moab is my wash pot. Moab, Metatebiyaye, no, is my place of washing. The Metatebiya, the Metatebiyaye, my Metatebiyaye, no. Moab is my wash place. You can say wash pot in that sense, the place I'm gonna wash in, right? Edomias Layim, and upon Edomias. Who is Edomias? It's the Idumeans, none other than the Edomites, right? Or Edomias, Edomias Layim, upon Edom, the Idumeans, the Edomites, to say Edom, Chama is a shoe. Chamayit, my shoe. Chamayin is a regalo. I will cast, more better, I will stretch out my shoe. I will stretch out my shoe over Edom, over the Edomites. Their Domyas Layim, Chamayin is a regalo. Philistia, Palestinians, original Palestinians, not these, but those, the ancient Philistim, right? Ye Gazu Linyal, over Philistia will I triumph. It's interesting here because in the Metaf Kedus and here in the Mezmor Dawit, Book of the Seven Seals, the Bible of the King of Kings, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah, here we have Philistim, Ye Gezu, they will submit. They'll become subject. To subject. They will subject themselves. Linya, li for ny, for me. Right? Yigazu linya. Philistim, yigazu linya. They will subject, they will submit themselves. Right? They will submit themselves to me, or they will subject themselves. They become my subjects. Right? Over Philistia will I triumph, or Philistia will become subject to me. Kuter Aser, right? Verse 10. What is inukatama? Man, you was tenyan? Mannis, iska domyasi maranyal. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Interesting verse, ain't it? What a sinu, where that towards sinu. Remember sinu, libe sinuno, my heart is fixed, my heart is firm. What that towards sinu, towards the firm. Here, the translator KJV says strong. The sinu, the firm, or the strong in the sense of it's a firm katama city. What is sinu katama? To the strong city, to the firm city. What is sinu katama? Man, you was Daniel. Man, who? Man, who? You West Daniel. Who will take me? Who will take me towards the strong, like to say almost like a fortified, a strong, a firm city? What is Sinukatama? Man, you West Daniel. Manis, man in the heart is like who? Manis and who, after like the first question, like to say like and who, right? Manis, it's good, Domyas, Yimaranya, and who, right? Iska towards, right? Edomias, Edom, right? The Idumeans, Edomias, and to Edom, Yemaranya, one who he to guide, who will guide me, right? To Edom, who will lead me, who will guide me to Edom. Now this is an interesting verse. It's an Israelite psalm now. What is Mani was Daniel? Manis is good, Edomias, Yemaranya, Kudasaran, verse 11. Abetu, yet alhen. Ante hamlakoi ka sarawitachin gar atawat wilt not thou, oh God, who has cast us off? Not, oh God, who has cast us off, and it was not the I. Isn't it going to be you, right? Who has cast us? Abetu, my father's father, father of the house. Yet alhen, alhe. Talih is like you, male, has thrown us down, like throwing down garbage, right? Of you who have thrown like I. But it's interesting because we have talhang. Here is more personalized, like you have cast me, right? So here it's like the all of Yisrael as the collective man, as the collective son, right? Bringing this out sense right here. Not us so much, but who have cast me, right? Who has cast me. So as Israel, as one man, right? The corporate body is chanting this as one man, as his son. Yet Al-Hain has cast me down, right? You, male, has cast me down. Ante, the pronoun for you. Ante, I delehimin, not the I, would not be the I. Yet Al-Hain, ante, I delehimin, right? Isn't that you? Amlakoi, oh Amlak, oh source, oh Amlak, corresponding to the KJV God, but oh source, right? Amlakoi, oh source. Ka, Sarawitachin Gar, with our Sarawit, with our hosts, with our laborers. Sarawit is like to say like a worker, a laborer. It could be host in the army, it could be co-laborers in the campaign, right? Whether military or otherwise. Ka Sarawitachin Gar, and with our hosts, with our armies, so to say, with our campaign, so to say. Atawetam, right? Now, KJV brings us out as a question. Wilt not thou, O God, who has cast us off? And wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our armies? Here, according to what we have here, we don't have a question mark right here, right? In the cipher, it's a full stop. So the first part is the question, right? Will not thou? You are the one who, isn't it not you who have cast us down, right? Oh, power, oh God, oh source, and with our armies, atuwetam. When we went out to fight, you wasn't amongst us. You did not go out. Atuwetam. You have not gone out. So we've been losing, and every time we lose, we know you're not with us. If we lose, you are not with us. That's the ancient sense right there. Kutar Asara Hulet 2, Asara 10 and 2, verse 12. Bemekarachin, Redatin, Sitten. Yesowim Madan, Kentuno. Give us help from trouble, for vain, for vanity is the help of man. Be Mekarachin, Mekarachin, our trouble, right? Our Mekara, Mekarachin. Be in Mekarachin, in our trouble, Red 8, help, assistance, Redatin, Sitten, to Sete. It's like the whole Sata Masagana thing. That was technically wrong according to the Amharic right there. It wasn't Sate. Sate would mean he made a mistake. He made an error. To say that Sate, make a mistake, an error. To say that Sete, right? Sete means he gave. Here, in this sense, the verb is saying Site, give to us. Sitan, give to us. Bemekarachin, in our trouble, our trial, our tribulation. Bemekarachin, Redatin, Sitan, give us assistance, give us help. Redate, right, in our I trouble. Difference is not just from trouble, but in our trouble, give us assistance. Bemekarachin, Redatin, Sitan. Yesowim, and of man of Saul, Madan. Remember the root, the Adon, Adonai, right? Like Adonai, Madan, to save, right? Yesowim, Madan, the salvation, the saving of soul, the saving of man, right? Of like mankind, of people, but the saving of man, literally. Yesowim, Madan, the saving of man. Kentu, no. Kentu, vain. Kentu, no. It's like fleeting, like a puff of breath, like you take a puff of smoke. It's in the air, one moment it's gone. That is what the help of men, immortal man and people is. Kutar Asra source, verse 13. Kutar Asra source. Begziavia, Hailin, Inadargalin. Ursum, Yemiasa Chenkunin, Yawardachwa. Through Egziavia, through the sustainer, Belohim, and the true good, the true God. Through the sustainer, we shall do valiantly. KJV says valiantly, but valiant, not violently, even though Hayil can be in some context violence, but here KJV has valiantly, right? And notice a lot of places has valiantly in the KJV, both in the Hebrew and the Amharic corresponds with the Hayil, right? Or the Hayil. Here, Chaylin in Nadargalin. We will do in Nadargalin. We will do Hayil. We will do power. We will do powerfully, right? Overpoweringly, prevailingly. Here in the sustainer, Belohim, through the power, the true good, the true God. For he, it is that, shall tread down our enemies. Arsum, Arsu. The pronoun for he in the Amharic is Arsu, right? Isu, latter Amharic, Isu, but more older Amharic is Arsu. Arsu could come from Ares, Arosh, the head, self, sense. Arsum, and he himself, and none other. Arsum, and he himself. Yemiyasa Chenkun, right? Yemiyas Chenkunin. The one, they who cause us anxiety, they who cause us anxiety, basically anxiety, they afflict. Those who cause us affliction, right? Anxiety, Yemiyasa Chenkunin, right? Those who cause us anxiety, affliction, to say the enemies, right? Yawardachwa. He will humiliate. He will humiliate them who cause us anxiety, affliction. Arasum Yemiyas Chenkunin, Yawar Dachwal. So it's all about the Chayil. That word we find in the Royal Amharic in this last verse here from the Royal Amharic, Begziavir, Chaylin in Adargal. Arsum Yemias Chenkunin, Yawar Dachwal. In the Hebrew, that part of the verse, Belohim, Na'iseh Chayil, Na'iseh Chayil, Na'iseh Chayil, Chaylin in Adargal. And here, the native speaker, Abraham Chebuda, here from. So basic breakdown and a build right there. And here, Abraham Chebuda from the King of Kings Bible, the Book of the Seven Seals, Revelation 5 and 5.
Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible.
መዝሙር 107 በቅንፍ 108 የዳዊት የምስጋና መዝሙር። ልቤ ጽኑ ነው፣ አቤቱ ልቤ ጽኑ ነው። እቀኛለሁ በክብሬም እዘምራለሁ። በገና ሆይ ተነስ፣ መሰንቆም እኔም ማልጄ እነሳለሁ። አቤቱ በአሕዛብ መካከል አመሰግንሃለሁ፣ በወገኖችም መካከል እዘምርልሃለሁ። ምሕረትህ በሰማይ ላይ ታላቅ ናትና እውነትህም እስከ ደመናት ድረስ ነውና። አቤቱ በሰማያት ላይ ከፍ ከፍ በል፣ ክብርህም በምድር ሁሉ ላይ ትሁን። ወዳጆችህ ይድኑ ዘንድ በቀኝህ አድን፣ አድምጠኝም። እግዚአብሔር በቅድስናው ተናገረ፣ ደስ ይለኛል። ሴኬምንም እካፈላለሁ፣ የሱኮትንም ሸለቆ ሰፍራለሁ። ገለአድ የኔ ነው፣ ምናሴም የኔ ነው። ኤፍሬም የራሴ መጠጊያ ነው፣ ይሁዳ ንጉሴ ነው፣ ሞዓብ መታጠቢያዬ ነው። በኤዶምያስ ላይም ጫማዬን ዘረጋለሁ፣ ፍልስጤም ይገዙልኛል። ወደ ጽኑ ከተማ ማን ይወስደኛል? ማንስ እስከ ኤዶምያስ ይመራኛል? አቤቱ የጣልከን አንተ አይደለህምን? አምላክ ሆይ ከሰራዊታችን ጋር አትወጣም። በመከራችን ረድኤትን ስጠን፣ የሰው ማዳን ከንቱ ነው። በእግዚአብሔር ኃይልን እናደርጋለን፣ እርሱም የሚያስጨንቁንን ያዋርዳቸዋል።
Rewind and come back to that.
For my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Take us away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. That's good for the past by instead. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother,
መዝሙር 107 በቅንፍ 107 የዳዊት የምስጋና መዝሙር። ልቤ ጽኑ ነው፣ አቤቱ ልቤ ጽኑ ነው። እቀኛለሁ በክብሬም እዘምራለሁ። በገና ሆይ ተነስ፣ መሰንቆም እኔም ማልጄ እነሳለሁ። አቤቱ በአሕዛብ መካከል አመሰግንሃለሁ፣ በወገኖችም መካከል እዘምርልሃለሁ። ምሕረትህ በሰማይ ላይ ታላቅ ናትና እውነትህም እስከ ደመናት ድረስ ነውና። አቤቱ በሰማያት ላይ ከፍ ከፍ በል፣ ክብርህም በምድር ሁሉ ላይ ትሁን። ወዳጆችህ ይድኑ ዘንድ በቀኝህ አድን፣ አድምጠኝም። እግዚአብሔር በቅድስናው ተናገረ፣ ደስ ይለኛል። ሴኬምንም እካፈላለሁ፣ የሱኮትንም ሸለቆ ሰፍራለሁ። ገለአድ የኔ ነው፣ ምናሴም የኔ ነው። ኤፍሬም የራሴ መጠጊያ ነው፣ ይሁዳ ንጉሴ ነው፣ ሞዓብ መታጠቢያዬ ነው። በኤዶምያስ ላይም ጫማዬን ዘረጋለሁ፣ ፍልስጤም ይገዙልኝ። ወደ ጽኑ ከተማ ማን ይወስደኛል? ማንስ እስከ ኤዶምያስ ይመራኛል? አቤቱ የጣልከን አንተ አይደለህምን? አምላክ ሆይ ከሰራዊታችን ጋር አትወጣም። በመከራችን ረድኤትን ስጠን፣ የሰው ማዳን ከንቱ ነው። በእግዚአብሔር ኃይልን እናደርጋለን፣ እርሱም የሚያስጨንቁንን ያዋርዳቸዋል።
Psalm 108.
מזמור ק"ח, שיר מזמור לדוד.
O God, my heart is fixed.
נכון ליבי אלוהים.
I will sing and give praise even with my glory.
אשירה ואזמרה אף כבודי.
Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoes. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Wilt not thou, O God, who hast cast us out? And wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly. For he it is that shall tread down our, 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 tread down our.
For my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
You take us away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. The good for the post by and say, humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother, higher than I live. Me loving Africa. Love my emotion. My interpretation. Love universal. Love in Africa. Love in America. Love in Canada. Every knee shall say, every tongue shall say, down in this valley, down in this valley, down in this valley of the one. Where is your love, Jamaica? Where is your love, Jamaica? Where is your love, Jamaica? I can feel your love, yeah, even touch your love. I don't know about your love. Not them the way to love one another. What does oh, too higher than I need. Oh, black ID and Stevie. Even within I man can pray. No place shall come up tonight. I pray. Keep them away, Wadada. Keep them away, Wadada. Black Wadada. Survive for Raya. Food, clothes, and shelter. Grandson, to why my heart desire. Each and everyone entitled to the heart desire. Feel it higher and higher now. No black stars will never run away. No, they will never stray. He's a lovely thing I never gave. Sway lady. He's a lucky thing I never gave. Sway lady. And started to run. I will never run away. And started to run. run. I will never run away. Do you hear? I never run away. Never run, never run, never run away. Day and that day do the feel so nice, so nice. Day and them that fight to get high. You should see them rejoice when they die. Run, run, run. I will never run away. Run, run, run. I will never run away. Do you hear? I never run away. No, I will never. Never run, never run, never run away. I will never run away. My black brother called me, and he reasoned with me. Everything he tells me, oh yes, it's true. That's why I will never run, run, I will never run away. Run, I will never run away. Do you hear? I never run away. No, never run, never run away. I will never, could never. I will never run away. I will never run away. No, I will never run away.
Black disciples right there. Yes, burning spear and wadada. Wadada, wedede, it's a wedede, beloved. Yedidia in the Hebrew right there. Getting into a little bit more of the Hebrew, but here we have a double portion as we seal up here, the third book of Moshe, Hebrew book that's known as Leviticus or Wayikra, and he called the Orit Ze Lewawian, Orit, Ethiopically speaking, the Torah of the Levites. But here, let's write.
Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. What does Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Achad? Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. The Lord, our God, the Lord is one. What does that really mean? And why is it important?
So here for the Wisdom Wednesday, here for the Wednesday podcast, we're at the fourth day. We have 7 aliots, the Torah reading and feeding, and 7 readings right here. So we have the third and the fourth day. Now it's a double portion. So we have the Har on the mount, Har, Harar. Remember, it's Massey born in Harar, mountain, mountainous, the Har, and the Hukotai, and my statutes. So here for this double portion here, third and the fourth day.
Shem Ha'av V'Habein Ruach Kadosh. Glory be for this double portion. Sabbatical study. This I Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat strong.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
And here is the fifth aliyah, the Hamishi aliyah, here at verse 29 for Shabbat Behar. With Ish, Kia, Yimakora, Data, Moshava, Ira, Homa, with Haita, Ualato, Adatom, Shanata, Mima, Kiro, Yami, Tihiye, Ulato. Here for the fifth aliyah, the Hamishi aliyah at verse 29. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold within. A full year may he redeem it. And if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house, the bait, that is, in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations. It shall not go out in the Yovel, in the Eubelio, the Jubilee, but the houses of the villages which have no wall round about them shall be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed. They shall not go out in the Yovel, in the Jubilee. Notwithstanding, the cities of the Lewim, the Levites, the Lewawian, and the Beitoch, the houses of the cities of their possession, may the Lewim, the Lewawian, may the Levites redeem at any time, at any hour. And if a man purchase of the Lewim, the Lewawian, the Levites, then the Beit, the house that was sold, and the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Yovel, Jubilee. For the Beitoch, the houses of the cities of the Lewim, of the Levites, the Lewawian, are their possession among the Benai Yisrael, among the sons, the children of Yisrael. But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. The law HaTorah of the land Haaretz, fourth item, the poor brother, verse 35. And if Achika, thy brother, when be waxen poor, and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury, no interest rate, no usury of him, or increase, but fear, but respect Eloheka, the I Elohim, true good, true God, that Achika, when thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon interest, upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. Ani Yahweh Elohim, I be, he who be, we be, your Elohim, true good, true God, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, to be your Elohim. And here. And here, Torah, righteousness, especially righteousness in business. A lot of people think when it talks about like sin and uckery and unrighteousness, it's just speaking about so-called, like drinking, smoking, and sex. But no, it's really speaking about business as well. Business practices, proper business practices, social, a society of His Divine Majesty. But here, that was the third day Aliyah. Now the fourth, here in a double portion. Here at the fourth day, we end off with the first part of the double portion and begin off with the first part of the second. So the first part, the first double portion ends off here at the third going to the fourth day right here. Yes,
Divided to around the wicked I go crumble. I be Bible. Shout up 2 Psalms and the wicked them tremble. Divided I be Bible. Shout up 2 Psalms and the wicked them tremble. Divided to around the wicked I go crumble.
Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Here for day 4, ending of the first of the double portion. Here.
Hashem, Ha'av, Wahabein, Waruach Kadosh, Yahweh, Echad. And here for the Sheshi Aliyah, for the 6th Aliyah, for this Shabbat Behar, at verse 39. With Kia Yamuk, Achika, Imak, with Ni Makara Lak, Lord Ta'ebod, Baua, Bodata Abed. Here for the Sheshi Aliyah, the 6th Aliyah, at verse 39. And if Achika, if thy brother Wendemeh, that dwelleth by thee eye be waxen poll, and be sold to thee eye, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant, but as an hired servant, and as a sojourner he shall be with thee, and shall serve thee, to the year of Yovel of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return to his own family, and to the possession of his fathers, his patriarchs, shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear, shall reverence, shall respect Eloheka, the eyes Elohim, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the goyim, of the heathen, of the other nations and nationalities that are round about you. Of them shall ye all buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the Benai, the children, the sons of strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye all buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begot in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye all shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever, but over your brethren, the Benai Israel, the sons, the children of Israel, ye all shall not rule one over another with rigor. And here for the Aliyah, the Shabi'i Aliyah, for the 7th Aliyah, for this Shabbat Behar, here picking up at verse 47. With ki kasiga yada gera, with toshav imak, uamak, ahika, Himo ni makara legera toshaba imak o le aikar misha pahat ger. Here for the Shabi'i Aliyah, the 7th Aliyah, here at verse 47. And here is Ha-Torah, the law of Ha'aretz, of the land. The 5th item, the redemption of the poor brother. Christos, Christ, Ha-Moshiach, our kinsman redeemer, verse 47. And if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by the eye, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself to the stranger or sojourner by the eye, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is near of kin to him of his family may redeem him. Or if he be able, he may redeem himself, and he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him to the year of Yovel of Jubilee. And the price of his sale shall be according to the number of years, according to the time the hour of an hired servant shall it be with him. If there be yet many years behind, according to them he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. And if there remain but few years to the year of Yovel of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according to his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption. And as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with rigor over him in thy sight. And if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Yovel of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. And here at verse 55, we have the maftir reading for this Shabbat Behar. Kili b'nei Yisrael abadima ibadayahem asher totzetiya otam me'aretz hamitzrayim ani Yahweh Elohekem. The maftir here at verse 55, for to me, to I, the B'nai Yisrael, the sons, the children of Israel, are servants. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt. Ani Yahweh Elohekem, I be, he who he be, the I, your Elohim. Third book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Leviticus chapter 26, the law of the land, Ha-Torah, the direction, the instruction of Haaretz, of the land. The sixth item, conditions of baraka, conditions of blessing, warnings of chastisement. Ye y'all shall make you no idols nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down to it. Ki ani Yahweh Elohekem, for I be he who he be, your Elohim. Eta Shabbatotai Tishmoru Ua Mikadashi Tiau Ani Yahweh. Ye all shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary, my Isla place. Ani Yahweh, I be he who he be. And thus, this concludes this Torah, the Torah Aliyot for Shabbat Behar. Glory be to the word, glory be to the sound, glory be to the power. Glory be to Ainai Father, Batachin, Ainai King, Nugusachin. Glory be to the first power of the Trinity, Beshem Yeshua HaMoshiach. In the name of Getachin, in the name of Medhanetachin, Ainai, Lord and Savior, in the name of Jesus Christos. Amen.
So here, we're still in the fourth aliyah here for the double portion. So that's the Behar, and here still part of this, like the bridge aliyah right here, still part of the fourth, coming forward right here. We have the beginning of Be Chukotai. But first, this right here, a word from I, sponsor and patron, the king.
What is true?
And David, my servant, shall be king over them. They all shall have one shepherd.
It is good that you are here to record this picture of me in my palace garden at Addis Ababa. People who see this throughout the world will realize that even in the 20th century, with faith, courage, and a just cause, David will still beat Goliath.
And David, my servant, shall be king over them. And they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children, forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Evermore. Evermore.
Walking eye in Jah law and observe his statutes. Here, Bechukotai, right here. Yes, sir.
My advice to all is to fulfill the 10 Commandments.
Live by the Torah and the wicked I go crumble. I be Bible.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Hashem, Ha'ab, W'Habein, W'Ruach HaKadosh, Yahweh, Echad. Name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, He will be, we be, the one. And here, Shema Yisrael, give ear. Here we are at the 33rd degree of our Rastafari sabbatical studies for this Shabbat strong. Shabbat Bechukotai. Shabbat Bechukotai. Sabbath in my statutes. Senbet Be-Sirate. Here we pick up with the third book of Moshe, the Hebrew book that is called Leviticus. Sefer Wayikra, the Orit Zeh Lewawi. And here we complete and fulfill. This is the last reading from the book of Leviticus, the handbook of the priest, of the priesthood, of the kahuna, the kehenet. It's called Bechukotai, which means in my statutes, in Jah, statutes, not statutes, in Jah, statutes, ordinances. Now the name comes from the first verse of the reading, which begins here. Third book of Moses, Hebrew book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 3. Tishmeru wa sitem otam. If ye walk, if ye trod in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them. If ye walk in my statutes, if ye trod in my statutes. Im bichukotai taleku. Leviticus 26 and 3. This last reading from the third book of Moshe, the Hebrew book of Leviticus, it promises it's the yea and amen of Yod Hey Wahey Yahweh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hashem, the Holy One, blessed be He, blessed be the name. His baraka, blessings and rewards for Kol Yisrael, the man who sees the true good, the true God, if they and I and we will keep HaTorah, Jah's directions and instructions. But however, on the other hand, chastisements and punishments and imprecations and curses if they and I and we break the commandments, the imperatives of HaTorah, of Jah's directions, of his instructions, of the glory of his divine majesty. Now, the last chapter discusses the laws, the Torot, the instructions, directions pertaining, rules and regulations pertaining to vows, votive offering, word, sound, valuations, evaluations, and tithes, tithes and tithes. In most years, in the Mikorab, in the gathering together, the assembly called the synagogue, is read the Hukotai together with the preceding portion, Bechar. So here, Nikai and I ride up with the Aliyot from HaTorah for this 33rd degree of Ainai Rastafari sabbatical studies here for this Shabbat strong, for Shabbat Bechukotai, for Senbet Be-Sarate in my statutes. B'Sama'ab, Wa'Wilid, Wa'Menfes Kedus, Hadu Amlak. Beginning off here, Leviticus 26, verse 3, conditions of Baraka, the Barakat, the blessing. Leviticus 26, verse 3. Im bichukotai taleku ve'eta mitzvotai tishmeru wa sitem otam. If ye all walk, trod in my statutes, and keep my commandments, imperatives, and do them and carry them out, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And your threshing shall reach to the vintage, and the vintage shall reach to the sowing time, the sowing hour. And ye, y'all, shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And here for Shabbat Bechukotai Senvet Besarate, here is the Sheni. The Sheni, Aliyah, the Anaphora, the offering up, the Sheni Aliyah, here at verse 6. With Natati Shalom Ba'aretz Usha Kavatem with Aina Macharida with Hisha Batia Hayara Mina Haaretza with Cherebalo Taivora de Aretzekem. Here for the Sheni, the second Aliyah, for this Shabbat Bechukotai Senbet Vesarate, verse 6. And I will give peace in the land. With Natati Shalom Ba'aret. And ye y'all shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beast out of the land. Neither shall the sword go through your land. And ye all shall chase your enemies, and they shall fail before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase, and 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. And your enemies, your haters, shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect to you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And here at verse 10. Here at verse 10 is the Shalishi Aliyah, the third Aliyah for Shabbat Bechukotai Senbet Besarate. Wa Akaltema Yashana Noshana We Yashana Mipneya Chadesh Towards for this double course sabbatical study, this I Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat strong.
Blessed are they that keep the commandments.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Behar Shalom. So we spoke about the Jubilee. If you haven't heard that, get to hear it and also hear it again. Check out also the Ethiopic Book of Jubilees. So to hear this 32nd degree of I sabbatical studies for Shabbat Behar. Now, some very good notes we have at the RasTafariGroundation.org. You know, this week's reading for each of the Torah portion, reading and feedings. But here we have character and deeds in connection with this Torah portion reading.
Again. At lojs.org, website updated, lojs.org for more on the Torah reading and feedings and free downloadables. But right here, Midot u'mitzvot, character and deeds going into business. What the Torah reading and feeding brings out, business, also compare and contrast the words of Rabbeinu, I Rabbi, the Rabbi of Rabbis, our Black Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, the King of Kings Christ, from Luke chapter 16, here with this Behar business. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Behar Shalom. So we spoke about the Jubilee. If you haven't heard that, get to hear it and also hear it again. Check out also the Ethiopic Book of Jubilees. So to hear this 32nd degree of I sabbatical studies for Shabbat Behar. Now, some very good notes we have at the RasTafariGroundation.org. You know, this week's reading for each of the Torah portion, reading and feedings. But here we have character and deeds in connection with this Torah portion, reading and feeding. 32nd, this manna, this angel's bread. Here we call it the midot u'mitzvot. midot u mitzvot, midot u mitzvot, or the character, midot u, and mitzvot, mitzvot, the deeds. It's like doing a mitzvah, doing a mitzvah, doing a commandment in that sense. Literally, the mitzvah is a commandment, and mitzvot is commandments. But this is taking in the we say the Judaic and Ionine way of thinking. Even we, the Black Jews, this is brought out as the character, the midot, these attributes, and what mitzvot and the deeds. All right. So here in this Torah portion, speaking on integrity in business. Integrity in business, right? Because a lot of folks think that, okay, reading and studying the scriptures, it's about like a lot of holy, like spookism. No, it's reality. The objective reality of divine majesty brings out that integrity, even the integrity in business, because the character and deeds, all right, even shown to I and we by Christ in his kingly character, the Messiah, in the second advent and second adventure, Christ, HaMoshiach, right? In the first and also in the second advent, weep not, behold, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. So the character, what's the character? What's these attributes? The midot, and what? Mitzvot, and the deeds. Here we have Leviticus chapter 25, verse 17, where it says, so you shall not wrong one another. You should not wrong one another, but y'all shall fear, more better, respect, reverence your Elohim. Kiani Yahweh Elohim, for I be, he who be, we be, your Elohim. So here we have Hashem, we have Jehovah. He's signing off on this. And we look at verse 17. Looking at verse 17, take a look at verse 17 for a moment. And ye shall not wrong one another, but thou shalt reverence, respect Eloheka, the eyes Elohim, true good, true God. Kiani Yahweh Elohekem, for I be, he who be, who he be. Now, how do we see this? Right? Just like don't wrong, how do we see this right here? The true context of this is speaking about financial business transactions. Now, the ancient sages, they declared that wronging does not apply to fields. The price must be fixed on a calculation of the number of years before the next Yovel, the next Jubilee. There is wronging, quote, wronging when less than an extra sixth of the value is obtained, but in the case of movable property, it is a sixth. Now, this is one way, this is one of the notes on the Chumash right here, right? Just looking at this particular verse right here, Leviticus chapter 25, verse 17, where it reads, and ye, y'all, shall not wrong one another, but thou shalt fear, respect, reverence Eloheka, the eyes Elohim, Kiani Yahweh Elohekem, for I be, he who be, your Elohim. So Elohim, our Elohim, Elohim, he signs off on this. Now a person selling a piece of property might be tempted to abuse the laws, the Torah, the direction, instruction of the Yovel to his advantage. Again, a person selling a piece of property might be tempted to abuse, wrongly use the Torah, the direction, instruction, the laws of the Yovel, the Jubilees to his advantage. He might sell a piece of property to an unsuspecting buyer at the full value of the land, knowing that in just a few years a Yovel, a Jubilee, would occur, allowing him to take it back. The new owner would be left with nothing, with no thing, nothing. HaTorah, Jah's directions, his instruction, it forbids that kind of transaction. that type of malpractice. Instead, the sale price of the land, is supposed to always have the coming Yovel, the coming Jubilee in view. All right? Take time to enjoy, right, Jah view, to see it Jah way, in his sight, in his face, in his perspective. Always put he who be before thee. That means we're looking at it Jah's way. Although one may be tempted, you say, well, no, but Jah says this. That's the instruction. That's the direction. Otherwise, honest and Jah respecting people and persons often feel justified to cheat or take advantage of others in business transactions. You see, this is not just some pie in the sky or something. No, this is reality, the objective reality. See, honest and otherwise Jah respecting or fearing or loving, however it may be for their rhetoric or articulation, but they feel justified to cheat and take advantage of others in what? In business transactions, like the previous Torah portion, Kedoshim. Right? Ye must be, it says, you to be holy because I am holy. He who he be is Kadosh, so we are to be Kedoshim. We're to be holy ones. Now, one might think, have all sorts of strange ideas about what being holy, or if we say we're saints. It's the same thing. Being saints set apart. That means proper in business as well, transaction, and especially there. Because what does Moshiach, Yeshua, Ha-Notri, what do you say? What is it? It's Luke's gospel, I think is chapter, is it 16? If I can touch on that. Chapter 16, we're talking about money. He said, he who is faithful in the least. So he said, basically, a lot of people talking about, being spiritual and this and that and all this stuff they do. But what about how are they in the least? He says, if one is unfaithful in the least, speaking about the money, who will give you the greatest? Talking about the true spirituality. You know, folks, Babylon make one's cray-cray. They think just, acting like they mild-mannered or they nice. That's what Jah requires. He don't require ignorance. He don't require niceness. In other words, yes, it's the parable of the unjust steward. Kedusa, Luke's Gospel, chapter 16. Luke's Gospel, chapter 16. He says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And this chapter is speaking about money. It's speaking about business transaction, right? He says, he who is faithful in that which is least, the money is the least, is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is also unjust also in much. Someone wants to talk about spirituality. Well, let's discuss business. I can discuss business. I can tell one so-called spirituality based on how they view business, right? And what's proper, what's equitable, right? The weights, the measures. Verse 11 says, if therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, right? The unrighteous mammon is basically money. Right? It's basically dollars and cents, money, silver, gold, all that. That's what, because, when they say that capitalism has no inherent there's no inherent morality to capital, because capital is basically money. It's unrighteous. It's unrighteous mammon. See, some people hear that and say, I don't want to deal with those unrighteous mammon. And this is what makes one thing like, being so-called poor, economic, finance. See, all of us have been in that, in this Western Gentile mixed up moods, attitudes, this upside down, this changing of times and laws. But here what Moshiach, Yeshua, red letter, Gita Yesu says, if therefore y'all have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, Targum, interpretation of Targum here, in money, in how you deal with your money.
Who will commit to your trust the true riches? Think about that for a moment. Is Getachin, is Adonenu, Ainai Adonia, Yeshua, I HaMoshiach, I saying that if you're not proper in your financial transactions, and that can include tithes, offering, contributing to the ministry, all of that, if you're not faithful in that, no wonder one is having problems with their spirituality in the viewpoint of his divine majesty. Let's over. Because it says in verse 12, red letter, if y'all have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who will give you that which is your own? Now, some fools will say, I get my own stuff. Yeah. Okay. It'll fade away, fade away. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one, he will repel the one, and love the other, and seek to attract like magnet the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve Ha-Elohim, the true good, the true God, and mammon, and money. Now, some people would think, well, I just serve the Lord. I don't care about the money. That's not what he's saying there. You serve the true good, the true God with your mammon and with that unrighteous mammon, because capitalism, money, the system of we're talking about money is unrighteous. There's no inherent righteousness in it. It's a standard of value. How do you value that? So honest and respecting people often feel justified because you figure that, they got something, and now you're going to get even with the evildoers and cheat and take advantage of others in business transaction, and you think you're getting over. No. You have just lost your value. You've been devalued. You've been made unclean. You've been cheapened. You've devalued yourself. They behave as if there's a different set of ethics that rule the world of commerce. There's not. There's not a different set of ethics. For example, a person would never, ever maybe think of stealing someone's ballpoint pen. Does not bother to point out to a vendor that they forgot to bill him for their last shipment. Again, a person who would never think of stealing someone's ballpoint pen does not bother to point out to a vendor that they forgot to bill him for their last shipment. You think, God bless me. No, God is allowing the devil to test you. A couple selling a house, for example, does not feel it necessary to point out to prospective buyers that the furnace is failing. A broker, right, feels no need to let his client know that his fees are twice the industry standard. What's the excuse? It's just business, right? Wrong. That's what the word says. Thou shalt not wrong. Ye shall not wrong one another. In what way? In financial business transaction. See, business affairs must be held to the same standard of HaTorah, God's direction, instruction, as the rest of life, as the rest of the liberty. While discussing business transactions, get this, HaTorah, God's direction, instructions, warns us, the Orit, it warns I and I, ye, y'all, I and I all shall not wrong another. Leviticus 25:17. Thus, scrupulous honesty, it might not seem like a good way to so-called, what they call it, get ahead. What does that mean? Don't you have a head? you understand, to get ahead in the business world. But it will get you ahead in the true kingdom of the King of Kings, and the true economy of his divine majesty. Someone says nobody's business to teach you business, but Jah has made it his business to teach I and I, Jah people, good business, 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 business.
Live by the Torah and the wicked I go crumble. I be Bible.
Well, I think comparing, China hosting, dozens of heads of states compared to, European regional bilateral relations is a fantastic example of how Europe has lost the game and has lost its upper hand in Africa. It's game over. Sorry, it's game over. Merkel essentially was in Africa. Yes, okay, to push manufacturing jobs and maybe the odd investment project here and there, but that pales compared to what China does on a continental scale, not only in Africa, but in Eurasia, on the Eurasian landmass and all across the world.
You had that EU-Africa summit last
Merkel was
December.
in West Africa too. Yes, but Merkel, if you're...
Psalm 108.
Mizmor Kuf Het Shir Mizmor Le David. Le David. Le David. Le David.
Reason with me, take us away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. That's good for the past by instead. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother,
Psalm 108.
Mizmor Kuf Het Shir Mizmor Le David. Le David. Le David. Le David.
O God, my heart is fixed.
Nachon libi Elohim. Elohim.
I will sing and give praise even with my glory.
Ashira va'azamera afkevodi.
Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem, and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoes. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Look not thou, O God, who hast cast us off, and wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly. For he it is that shall tread down our and 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 tread down our.
Mizmor Kuf Het Shir Mizmor Le David. Nachon libi Elohim. Ashira va'azamera afkevodi. Ura hannevel v'chinor. A'ira shahar. עודך בעמים אדוני, ואזמרך בלאומים, כי גדול מעל שמיים חסדך, ועד שחקים אמיתך. רומה על שמיים אלוהים, ועל כל הארץ כבודך. למען יחלצון ידידיך, הושיע ימינך וענני. אלוהים דיבר בקודשו, אעלוזה אחלקה שכם, ועמק סוכות עמדת. לי גלעד לי מנשה, ואפרים מעוז ראשי. יהודה מחוקקי, מואב סיר רחצי, על אדום אשליך מעלי, עלי פלשת אתרועע. מי יובילני עיר מבצר, מי נחני עד אדום. הלא אלוהים זנחתנו, ולא תצא אלוהים בצבאותינו. הבה לנו עזרת מצר, ושב תשועת אדם. ואלוהים נעשה חיל, והוא יבוס צרינו.
Hebrew boy, everything takes time.
Here. Basic Hebrew. Here. Baby Hebrew. Shema Yisrael. 1 to 22. Abba Gadaha. Wazachata. Yakalama Nasa. Apa Sakara Shata. Again. Basic Hebrew. Baby Hebrew. 1 to 22. 22. Abba Gadaha. Wazachata. Yakalama Nasa. Apa Sakara Shata. Ta. Aleph. Ba Beit. Ga Gimel. Da Dalet. Ha Hey. Wa Wow. Za Zain. Cha Chet. Ta Tet. Ya Yod. Ka Kaf. La Lamed. Ma Bein. Na Nun. Sa Samech. A Ain. Pa Pei. Sa Sadai. Ka Kof. Ra Resh. Sha Shin. Ta Tau. Abagadaha. Wa Zachata. Yakalamana. Sa Apa Sa Kara Sha Ta.
Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breasts. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
Rastafari, Abagadaha, Wazataya, Kalamana, Saifata, Warashata.
Mizmor Kof Chet. And Mizmor 108, Psalm 108, Thanksgiving and Prayer, Psalm CVII. Today's daily psalm, according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews and hereafter the order of Malachi, we have Thanksgiving and Prayer. Now we have two extracts from earlier psalms, and today's daily psalms are the constituents of this psalm, this Mizmor. Verses we have here in today's daily psalm, we have verses 1 to 5 correspond with Mizmor Psalm 57, verses 7 to 11, and Psalm 60, verses 5 to 12, verses 5 to 12. Now, it seems clear that the selection and combination were made for use in the Kaddish, the liturgy. to meet a special circumstance. What it was cannot be determined, but it is generally held to have been the time, the Iowa, when the newly returned exiles were being menaced. When the newly returned exiles were being menaced. Now, in the commentary, the points of variation are noted in the further commentary, and the reader is referred to the original Psalms for the exposition. So today's daily psalm, according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews, and hereafter the order of Melchizedek, we have Mizmor Kof Chet, Psalm 108, and it's theme thanksgiving and prayer. Elohim, the true good, the true God, is praised and supplicated to give victory. To give victory, we have an ode, Asher Mizmor Le David, and an ode, a psalm, an ode of a psalm of David, of David. Now, since the two psalms, which are the source, are ascribed to David, his name is attached to the composition in its present form here. So the opening verses here, verses 1 to 5 or so, depends on if we're looking at the KJV, the English translation, or in the Hebrew, the Sefer Tehillim, verses 2 to 6, we have thanksgiving for Elohim's mercy. Thanksgiving for Elohim's mercy, beginning off with the Nakon Libi Elohim. My heart is steadfast. Nakon Libi Elohim. My heart is steadfast. Ashira wa Zamra. I shall sing. Ashira. I shall sing. Wa Zamra. And I shall chant Isis, I shall sing praises. Af kabodi, even af kabodi, even with my glory, is prepared my heart, is steadfast, is fixed, prepared my heart. Nakon libi Elohim. Nakon libi Elohim. My heart is prepared, is steadfast, Elohim. Oh, true good, true God. Ashira wa Zamra afa kabodi. I shall sing and strum and chant Isis. Af kavodi, even with my glory. Ura, 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 awake, ura, ura. Hanevel, we kinor, awake, harp and lyre. Ura, hanevel, we kinor. With kinor, awake harp and lyre, or psaltery, the psaltery and the harp, Ira, shachar, I shall awake, Ira, shachar, I shall awake the dawn. I shall be awakened. Some interpret this here as I shall be awakened at dawn. At dawn. Odeka. Ba. Amin. Yahweh. Why is America? Why is America? What is America? What is America? And I shall give thanks to the He who he be. among the peoples, and I shall sing to the I, wa is America. I shall sing to the I male. Balumim, Balumim, to sing to the I among the nations, among the nationalities, shall sing to the I among the nations. Ki gadol me Allah. Shamayim, for your loving kindness is great above the heavens. Hasideka, Hasideka, and the eye truth, the eyes truth, the loving kindness, the truth with ad shit hakim shit hakim to the skies. Miteka, and your truth reaches to the skies, for your loving kindness is great above the heavens. Ki gadol me'al shemayim hasideka we'adash hakim miteka. For your loving kindness, your mercy is great above the Shemaim, the heavens, and your truth, Miteka, the eyes, male truth, objective reality, reaches to the Shehakim, reaches to the skies. Yes, I, Rastafari. Ruma, be exalted, Ruma, Allah. Shamayim Elohim wa'al kol ha'aretz bodeka, be exalted, O Elohim, above the heavens, Shamayim, and your glory, kabodeka, the eyes male glory, above all the aretz, above all the earth, above all the earthly plane. Lima'an, so that Lima'an Yehalasun, that your beloved that may be delivered, Yedideka, the eyes beloved may be delivered, Lima'an Yehalasun, Yedideka. Hoshia, Nineka, Wa, Nani, save with your right hand and answer. I, yes, I, Rastafari.
No intro right there, going the first 7 verses. Kabod, glory, yesh, kabod, yesh.
Kabod alek,
yes, kabod, yes. לאנשים שהאמינו, יש kabod, yes. ולשהינו, יש kabod, yes. לאריות ונמרים, אין כבוד, אין לנחשים לגבוהים, יש כבוד, יש, בינינו לאלוהינו, יש כבוד, יש, אנחנו לא לבדנו, יש כבוד, יש, לסבלנות של שנים, אין כבוד, אין לנרקומנים לשקלים, כבוד לאלה שאיתנו כבר שנים, לאלה שעברו את הזמנים הקשים, אלה שלא רואים רק את הזרקורים, אלה חברים אחי, אלה הגברים, אלה שהבדילו בין עיקר לטפל, זה שמברך אותך מול זה שמקלל, אלה שהבדילו בין חרוץ לעצל, אלה שעבדו בשמש לא חיכו בצל, אלה שהיו אחד בפה אחד בלב, אלה שהבינו מי נותן ומי חולף, אלה שהבינו בין חבר לאויב, הם שאהבו אותי אותם אני אוהב, כי יש כבוד יש לאנשים שהאמינו, יש כבוד יש, ואלה שהבינו, יש שנים. אין כבוד, אין לנרקומנים לשקלים. מציע לכל אלה שראו והאמינו, אלה שרצו לשמוע, אלה שהפנימו, אלה שאכלו את ההצלחה ולא השמינו. רק אתכם רצינו ואיתכם בנינו, אלה שחיפו נקי ולא רצו למעוך, אלה שהלכו ליד ולא חיפשו לדרוך, אלה שתמיד ידעת יש על מי לסמוך, גם כשהיה קשה עזרת לי למשוך. אלה שהייתי כשעוד נראיתי מוזר, אלה שהביטו קצת קדימה למחר, אלה נשארו כשכל הרעש נגמר. מי שלא נשבר עומד מול זה שנמכר, כי יש כבוד יש לאנשים שהאמינו, יש כבוד יש לאלה שהאמינו, יש כבוד יש לאריות ונמרים, אין כבוד אין לנחשים וגבוהים, יש כבוד יש בינינו לאלוהינו, יש כבוד יש אנחנו לא לבדנו, יש כבוד יש לסבלנות שנים, אין כבוד אין לנרקומנים לשקלים. יום יבוא אלה שצוחקים עכשיו יבכו, אלה שבוכים עכשיו הם עוד יצחקו. יום יבוא אלה שצוחקים עכשיו יבכו, אלה שבוכים עכשיו הם עוד יצחקו. ברוך השם יש לנו את האחרות לבחור, ממשיך קדימה לא נשאר מאחור. הכוח הוא בהתמדה, כן, ורק בסוף הדרך סופרים את הקופה. יש כבוד יש יש כבוד יש יש כבוד יש יש כבוד יש
מזמור ק"ח, שיר מזמור לדוד. נכון ליבי אלוהים, אשירה ואזמרה אף כבודי, עורה הנבל וכינור אעיר השחר. עודך בעמים אדוני, ואזמרך בלאומים, כי גדול מעל שמיים חסדך, ועד שחקים אמיתך. רומה על שמיים אלוהים, ועל כל הארץ כבודך. למען יחלצון ידידיך, הושיע ימינך וענני. אלוהים דיבר בקודשו, אעלוזה אחלקה שכם, ועמק סוכות אמדד. לי גלעד לי מנשה, ואפרים מעוז ראשי. יהודה מחוקקי, מואב סיר רחצי, על אדום אשליך מעלי, על פלשת את רוע. מי יובילני עיר מבצר, מי נחני עד אדום. הלא אלוהים זנחתנו, ולא תצא אלוהים בצבאותינו. הבה לנו עזרת מצר, ושב תשועת אדם. באלוהים נעשה חיל, והוא יבוס צרנו.
Hakadosh, Baruchu, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. And here, Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel, the Midrash, today's Psalm, and here, Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel, the Midrash, today's Psalm, Mizmor Kof Chet, Psalm 108. Here, a Midrash, a study on today's daily song, which is seen Thanksgiving and prayer, Mizmor Kof Chet. Psalm CVII, Psalm 108, a psalm of David,
of David. My heart is prepared, O God. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises. I will sing Isis. Shir Mizmor le David. Nakon Libi Ashira wa Izamra Af Kuf Bodi Af Kabodi. Even with my glory. Here. Opening words, the first two verses, Hebraically, Mizmor Kof Chet, the Aleph and the Beit verses, according to the Hebrew. In the KJV, it's the superscription, is the first verse in the Hebrew. The verse that reads, a song, a psalm of David. Shir, song. Mizmor, psalm, chant. Isis, intonation. Shir, Mizmor le David, a song, a psalm. Isis, of David, of David, the well-beloved. Nakon, libi Elohim. My heart, libi, is prepared. Nakon, libi Elohim. Oh, Elohim. Oh, power. True good, true God, Elohim. I will sing. Ashira. I will sing. Yea. Wa Izamra. And I will sing praises. Izamra, from Zamar, Zemre, to chant Isis. Shir, Mizmor le Dawi, Nakon li bi Elohim. Ashira, wa Zamra. Elsewhere, this is what scripture says, even in Daniel, chapter 9, verse 3. And I set my face to the Lord God to seek by prayer and supplications. And I set my face to the Lord God to seek by prayer and supplications. Wa etna etapanaya il Adonai ha Elohim le vakesh tefillah wa tachanunim. And I set my face. Wa etna etapanai. And I set my face. Wa etna etapanai. I set panai, my face. Il Adonai, to Adonai, ha Elohim, to Adonai, the sovereign, to Adonai, ha Elohim, the Elohim, Hailahim, ha Elohim, the power. Wa etna etapanai il Adonai, ha Elohim. Le vakesh, to seek, le vakesh, to seek, tefillah, to seek tefillah, prayer, to seek prayer, le vakesh, tefillah, with tachnunim, and supplications, tachnunim. Wa'etana etapanaya il Adonai ha'Elohim, le vakesh, tefillah, with tachnunim. But is not prayer the same as supplication? Is tefillah the same as tachnunim and supplications? The distinction between them is this. Righteous men, righteous men first incline themselves toward HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, toward the Holy One, the set apart one, Baruch Hu, blessed be He, so that He will listen to their prayers. And so our Rebbanim, our scholars of Torah, the rabbis taught, a man must begin to pray only in a mood of humility, not in a mood of frivolity, nor in a mood of lightness, nor in a mood of banter, so that HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, so that the Holy One, blessed be He, will listen to Tefilato, to his prayer, to Tefilato, to his prayer. For in saying, according to 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 18, then David Hamelech, David the king, went in and sat lifnei Yahuwah, and sat before Jehovah. Does scripture mean that sitting is permitted in the presence, in the face, the perception before HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, before the Holy One, the set apart one, the sanctified one, the Haila, the hallowed one, the set apart, the Isis, the Isla one, blessed be He? Does this mean that sitting is permitted in the presence of the Holy One, blessed be He? Does not a man pray only in a standing position, the Amidah? As it is said, even in Psalm 106, Hebraically at the 30th verse, then stood up Phineas and prayed. Waya emod pinachas, waya falel, then stood up. Waya emod, waya emod, waya emod, waya emod, waya emod, wa and ya emod, and stood up. Pinachas, Phineas, Pinachas, why falel, wa and wrought judgment, or and prayed. Sometimes translated as then stood up Phineas and wrought judgment, but directly in the Hebrew, waya emod pinachasa, why falel, then stood up, waya emod pinachas, wa and yifalel, and prayed. Aye, how then can it be said, then David sat before the Lord? Vayavo Hamelech David. Wayabo Hamelech David. And David went in. Wayabo Hamelech David. And David the king, Hamelech David. And the king David went in. Wayeshev Lifnei Yahuwah. So then, how can it be said, then David, Wayabo Hamelech David, sat before Jehovah, sat before he be who he be. Wayasher Lifnei Yahuwah. What the verse implies, however, is not that he sat, but that he had his heart set to pray. What the verse even here in 2 Shemuel, the first part of verse 18 of 2 Samuel chapter 7 verse 18. Wayabo Hamelech David, and David went in. Wayasher Lifnei Yahuwah, and sat before Yahuwah, he who be who he be, implies, however, is not that he, David, Hamelech David, David the king, sat, but that he had his heart set to pray. And here, Midrash note here on Psalm Mizmor Kof Chet, Psalm 108, here to the implication of what it means that he sat before Yahweh Jehovah is not that he sat, but that he had set his heart to prayer. The pray is brought out in the Midrash to the first Psalm, Mizmor Aleph, in the second section of the Midrash Tehillim, Psalm 1.2. Indeed, since he asked at once in 2 Shemuel, 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 18, who am I, O Lord God, and what is my house? Who am I, O Lord God, and what is my house? Wayomer, mi aknoki Adonai Yahweh, mi beiti, since he David asked at once. Wayomer, and he said, mi anoki Adonai Yahweh, who am I? Me, who anoki, I, me anoki, who am I? Me anoki, Adonai Yahweh, O sovereign, he who be, Adonai Yahweh, oh, me, and who, or what in translation, but the Hebrew, and me, and who, beiti, me, beiti. Wayomer, mi anoki, Adonai Yahweh, me, beiti. His humility means that he had prayed, he had prepared his heart for prayer, libo, his lib, his heart for prayer, heartica, as is said even in the 10th Psalm, Psalm 10, Hebraically at the 17th verse, where it reads, thou wilt prepare their heart, thou the eye wilt cause thine ear, the eye ear to attend. Takin libam, takshib, azaneka, thou wilt direct, prepare their heart. Takin libam, takin, to prepare, to direct. Takin libam, their libam, takin libam, takshiv, to attend, azaneka, to cause to attend. Takshiv, azneka, the azneka, azneka. Takin libam, takshib, azneka, azneka, azneka. Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Samuel bar Nachmani taught, when you prepare your heart for prayer, for tefillah, for elot, when you prepare your heart for prayer, you may be assured that your prayer will be heard by Hakadosh, Baruch Hu, by the Holy One, the idle one, the set apart, the sanctified one, Baruch Hu, blessed be He. For it is said, even in 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 45, thou, the eye, wilt prepare their heart, thou wilt cause thine ear to attend, and in 1 Kings, comparing Psalm 10, Hebraically the 17th verse, with 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 45, where it reads, if the people shall pray to Yahweh Jehovah, thou, the eye in heaven, in Shemaiah, will hear their prayer. Scripture also says in Ezra chapter 7, verse 10, for Ezra had prepared his heart. And furthermore, in verse 6 of Ezra chapter 7, verse 6, the king grant him all his requests according to the hand of Yahweh, Jehovah Elohayo, his Elohim, his power upon him. So too, you find that Hezekiah, who prayed for Israel, it is said, even in 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 18, Hezekiah had prayed for them, saying, the good Lord pardon, the good Lord pardon. Ki hitapalella ye chizakiyao elehem lemor Yahuwah hatov. For Hezekiah had prayed for them. Kia hitapalella ye chizakiyao elehem, saying, lemor Yahuwah hatov, Jehovah the good, he who he be hatov, ye kapera be'ada, ye kapera be'ada, pardon, ye kapera be'ada, kia hitapalela ye chizak yaw eleihem, lemor Yahuwah hatov, ye kapera be'ada. But before he prayed, he had prepared his heart. But before he prayed, he prepared his heart, as is said, even in 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 19. He prepared his whole heart to seek God, the Lord, the God of his fathers, the God of his patriarchs. Kola lebabo hekina lidrosha ha-Elohim Yahweh Elohea evotayo. He prepared his whole heart to seek the Elohim, the power. Kola lebavo hekina lidrosh ha-Elohim Yahweh, he who he be, the power, the Elohim of his patriarchs, of his fathers, Yahweh Elohe ebotayo. And because he prepared his heart, call his whole, all, lebabo hekin, call lebabo hekin, and because he prepared his heart, hakadosh baruch hu, hearken to his prayer, because he prepared his whole heart, call lebabo, he prepared hekin, hakadosh baruch hu, baruch Hashem, hearken to his prayer, and healed the people. Scripture also says, then the priests, the Levites, Halloween, arose and blessed the people, and their voice was heard of Yahweh, of Jehovah, and their prayer came up to his holy, his isla, his set apart habitation, even to Shemaiah, even to the heavens, the place of the celestial waters. David said accordingly, behold, I shall prepare my heart so that Hakadosh Baruch Hu, so that the Holy One, blessed be he, will hear tefillati, will hear my prayer. Hence, here, it is said, even in today's psalm, my heart is prepared, O Elohim. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises, I will sing Isis, nakona libi Elohim. Ashira wa zamra. Another targum, another interpretation of my heart is prepared, O Elohim, nakon libi Elohim, nakon libi Elohim, nakon prepared, libi my heart, Elohim, O power. David said,
I shall prepare my heart as incense, as incense. I shall prepare, Libi, my heart as incense, as incense. Therefore, it is written even in the 141st Psalm at the second verse, Hebraically, of the 141st Psalm. Let my prayer be prepared as incense before thee eye. Let my prayer be prepared, be set forth, be prepared as incense, as incense before the eye. Tikon tifilati itoreta lifanecha. May my prayer tifilati be set forth, be prepared as incense, as kitoret, as incense, lifanecha, before the eye, in thy face, in thy perception. Tikon tifilati kitoreta lifanecha. Hakadosh Baruchu, the Holy One, blessed be He. Answer Dawid, thou, the eye, hast prepared for thy prayer. Therefore, I shall prepare thy throne. I shall prepare thy throne, as is said even in 2 Samuel, chapter 7, verse 16, where it reads, and thy house and thy kingdom, thy government, shall be made sure forever, before thee, before the eye. Thy throne shall be prepared forever, for ever. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises, Isis, even with my glory. Ashira wa izamra afa kavodi, even with kavodi, even with my glory. David said, I will sing on account of the glory that the eye has given I, as is said, who am I? Mi anoki, Adonai Yahuwah, O sovereign, he who be, who he be, and me beiti, and what is my house, that thou, the eye, has brought me hither, that the eye has brought I here, in 2 Samuel, chapter 7, verse 18. That is, brought I to my kingship, hence kavodi, hence my glory, kabre, hence my glory, kabodi, my kavod. Therefore, I have not been sleeping, but have awaked the dawn with psaltery and harp, as is said even in today's psalm, here in Mizmor Kof Chet, in Psalm 108. Awake, psaltery and harp, I will awake the dawn. Awake, psaltery and harp, ura, ha navel, wi kinor. Awake, ura, awake, ura, awake, psaltery and harp, ha navel, wi kinor. I will awake the dawn. A'ira shachar, a'ira shachar, a'ira shachar, ura, ha navel, wi kinor. Ira shahar, awake, psaltery and harp, I will awake the dawn. Ura. David went on. Never has dawn come upon me and found me asleep. Never has dawn come upon me and found me asleep. For I am wont to awake the dawn. Ira shahar. Hence, here, he said, I will awake the dawn. Ira shahar. Ira, I will awake. Ira shahar. I will awake the shahar. I will awake the dawn. And also in Psalm 119 at the 62nd verse, Psalm 119 verse 62, at midnight I will rise to give thanks to the eye. At midnight I will arise to give thanks, Yangfu Isis to the eye. At midnight, chitzot, Laila, midnight, chitzot, Laila, akum, lehodot, to give eyes as thanks and praise, stretch off my hands to the eye, chitzot, Laila, akum, lehodot lak, at midnight I will rise up to give thanks, Yangfu Isis to the eye, and further, in Psalm 119 at the 147th verse,
I rose early at dawn and cried. I rose early. Kidamti, kidamti, kidamti. Va neshef, baneshef, baneshef, baneshef at dawn. Wa ishawea. Wa ishawea. Wa and ishawea, ishawea. And shouted ishawea and cried out, called out to say to shout ishawea and shout ishawea. Kidamti, va neshef, wa ishawea. I rose early at dawn, wa and ishawea, and cried out and called out and shouted ishawea. I will give thanks to the eye, O Lord, among the peoples. Odeka, va amim, Yahuwah. Odeka, I will give thanks, stretch forth the hands, I will give thanks, young for Isis. Odeka, ba amim, ba amim, ba amim, ba amim. Amongst the peoples, Yahuwah, oh he who be, who he be. Lamaze, for what reason? Because, according to the words of today's psalm, he breaks the 5th verse, thy mercy is great above the heavens. Why will I do this? Because thy mercy, ki gadola me Allah shamayim chasteka, 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 the chasteka, the eye chesed, chasteka, the eye loving kindness, the eye's grace, chasteka, the eye male loving kindness, the eye male grace, chasteka is great, ki gadol, ki for gadol, for big up, for great, for important, ki gadol, may all shamayim, may from all, from above, may all, from above, may all shamayim, ki gadol, may Allah shamayim, chasteka, for thy chesed, thy loving kindness, thy mercy, thy grace is great above the shamayim. Mercy, chesed, chesed, mercy on my behalf, that reaches to shamayim, that reaches to the heavens, the place of the celestial waters. For I was fearful, I was anxious, fearful, because of chatati, my sin, my uckery, my fuckery, and thou, the eye, discomfort me. And the eye did comfort I, and this show me mercy, and this show I chesed, grace, loving kindness. For even thus, like this, Scripture says in 2 Samuel, chapter 12, verses 24 to 25, Scripture reads, and David comforted Bathsheba, Ishto, his wife, and she bore a son, and he sent comfort. He sent comfort by the hand of Nathan, of Nathan, the prophet Hanabi, and he called his name Yedidiah, Wadadiah, Wadada, and he called his name Wadada Yedidiyahu, the beloved of Yah, the beloved of Jah. Wadada, Yedidiyahu, Wadada, Yedidiyahu, Wadada,
Let my prayer be set forth before thee as incense, and the lifting up of my hands as the evening sacrifice. Reason
with me is take us away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. That's good for the past instead. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother,
מזמור ק"ח, שיר מזמור לדוד. נכון ליבי אלוהים, אשירה ואזמרה אף כבודי. עור הנבל וכינור, העיר השחר. עודך ועמים אדוני, ואזמרך בלאומים. כי גדול מעל שמיים חסדך, ועד שחקים אמיתך. רומה על שמיים אלוהים ועל כל הארץ כבודיך. למען יחלצון ידידיך, הושיע ימינך וענני. אלוהים דיבר בקודשו, העלוזה אחלקה שכם, ועמק סוכות המדד. לי גלעד לי מנשה, ואפרים מעוז ראשי. יהודה מחוקקי, מואב סיר רחצי, על אדום אשליך מעלי, עלי פלשת אתרועה. מי יובילני עיר מבצר, מי נחני עד אדום. הלא אלוהים זנחתנו, ולא תצא אלוהים בצדקותינו. הבה לנו עזרת מבצר, ושב תשועת אדם. ואלוהים נעשה חיל, והוא יבוס צרינו.
Psalm 108.
מזמור ק"ח, שיר מזמור לדוד.
O God, my heart is fixed.
נכון ליבי אלוהים, 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 אלוהים.
I will sing and give praise even with my glory.
אשירה ואזמרה אף כבודי.
Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and answer. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine. Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Look not thou, O God, who hast cast us off. And wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble. For vain is the help of men. Through God we shall do valiantly. For he it is that shall tread down our 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 tread down
with me,
באלוהים נעשה חיל, ואግዚאביה חיילין נדרגלן, יסai.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.